So, very good morning, all. Let's start the session, I think. So, yesterday we were looking the unit IO, and we have seen the goals of the IO software. And we have also seen DMA, direct memory access, and we have learned, you can say, DMA, then what we have learned, IO software and device drivers. So, and lastly, we have seen some basics of the disk structure, because today we are going to learn in the detail disk structure. I have shown a couple of videos to you, so you can have idea of basic structure of disk that we have seen into the video, right? So let's continue and let's start from the disk. And today we are going to learn many examples also. So please be with pens and papers and notebooks because today we'll see a few examples of disk scheduling algorithm. So let's talk about disk. So it is relatively permanent and can hold larger quantities of data. Now, I think I need not to go into the detail of that, what is hard disk and all, because you all are knowing what is hard disk and why we are using hard disk. It will be for a permanent storage of the data, right? Its access time is slow compared to that main memory. Now, you all will agree that the access time of the hard disk will be slow or slower than the main memory and magnetic disk. Provide the bulk of secondary storage for modern computer system. Yeah, it's a secondary storage. Now, platter, we already seen what is platter. So platter has a flat circular shape like CD. The two surfaces of platter are covered with magnetic material, and we store information by recording the magnetically on the platters. So this was the thing. So these structure like the CD, these are platters. It is written over here also, the platters, and platters can be read and write from both of the sides. So this is on the top, and even in the bottom also you can store the data. And this material is made of the magnetic material, and data can be stored magnetically on the hard disk. The surface of the platter is logically divided into the circular tracks. Now we have already seen what is track, what is sector, and what is cylinder, right? So the surface of the platter is logically divided into circular tracks, which are subdivided into the sectors, right? So the set of tracks that are at one arm position make up the cylinder, right? So now these rounds, 1, 2, like entire plate is divided logically. See, this is not a physical division, but it is a logical division. It's divided into the circular shape, which is, you can say, a track, and these lines are sectors. So your entire platter is made of tracks and sectors, and these logical, this is one cylinder. Now you can imagine, right? Now this is, again, you draw the line from here to here, and then from here to here, then it is cylinder 2. Cylinder 3, 4, up to 100, 200 cylinders can be logically there inside the hard disk. So these are the tracks, these are the sectors, this is spindle, and these platters keep rotating. Yesterday we have seen in the video, these platters keep rotating, and this is the arm. So this arm is movable from this direction to this, and this return, right? So disk has, now let's talk about speed of the disk, right? So disk speed has two parts. One is transfer rate. Now, what is transfer rate? This is the rate at which data flow between the drive and the computer, right? If you, for example, computer or main memory. So transfer rate is nothing but the actual time taken to transfer the data from the hard disk to the memory or from the memory to the hard disk. Apart from that, there are two other parameters. One is seek time or positioning time. Now, what is seek time? See, these two parameters are very important to understand. What is seek time and what is rotational latency, because it plays a higher role in the transfer rate. Now, what is seek time? Sometimes called a random access time, that consists of the time necessary to move the disk arm to the desired cylinder. I am repeating, it is the necessary time to move the disk arm to the desired cylinder. Now consider your data is here. Your data is here, right? So these arm will keep moving like this. These arm cannot be taken over here, but these arm will move like this, so that it can cover the entire surface of the disk. So consider these are the cylinders. You need to imagine something. So these arm will keep moving like this to this. Now seek time is the time which is required for the arm to be at an desired cylinder. Now these are many cylinders, logical cylinders in the hard disk. So the time which is required to move the arm in desired cylinder. And second one is rotational latency, the time necessary for desired sector to rotate the disk head. Now if the data is here, then this disk has to rotate like this, and this cylinder needs to be inside this head. Then only this head can read or write. So one, this arm needs to be, this is for example for this moment, from here to out, and then the disk will be rotating and the desired sector will be inside the arm. So in short, this is for the track movement. The arm is for track movement. Which track? If track is outside, means at the outer side, this head will move backward. And if it is inside, this head will move forward. And then the sector, these are the sector. Then the desired sector, this disc will rotate and the desired sector will be inside the arm, and then the actual data read and write will be performed. So in the speed, first seek time, the time which is required to move the arm to the desired cylinder, or you can say track, and rotational latency or rotational delay, the time necessary for the desired sector to rotate to the disk head, and then the actual transfer rate, which is actual time which is required to bring in or bring out the, you can say, the entire block. So these are the three parameters. So before going ahead, I want to ask you, is it clear to everyone what is seek time, what is rotational delay? Then I can go ahead. Okay, so I think let me open that video, then I can show you if I can. I don't know in which video it was. See, now you can see that this arm is moving from this to this. So this is seek time, because if your data is here, then your arm needs to move here. If your data is at outer part, then your arm needs to move out. So this is seek time. Now consider your data is here. Now your arm cannot be come here. So what it will do, this disk will be rotated and the desired cylinder or sector will be below this arm. So this is rotational delay. So this arm positioning, this is seek time, and this platter will be moving round, then it is, you can say, rotational delay. See. Is it clear now? Sunny? Okay. So 3 factors. One is seek time for arm positioning, rotational delay, platter is rotating, and the third one is the actual data transfer time. Let me close this. Now this is some comparison. See, this one is old. So latest hard disks are in the market, but this is comparison between some floppy. Now I don't know whether you have seen the floppy. When I have purchased my first computer in 2001, that time we were using, there were no pen drive, there were not so much popular CDs. We were using floppy disk, and I think total storing capacity of a floppy was 4 MB only, though we were considering, wow, we can store 4 MB of data. So that was the scenario. I have personally seen the floppy drives. So this is the comparison between a floppy and the hard disk. So you can have imagination. Number of cylinder in floppy 40, in hard disk 36481. You can imagine 36,481 cylinders. So you can see how the minor the tracks are. It is, you can say, minor than your hairs even. Tracks per cylinder. 2 tracks, 255 tracks. Sectors per track. 9 sectors, 63 average sectors. Sectors per disk, in entire disk, 720 sectors, and this one 586072368 number of sectors in a disk. Bytes per sector, how many bytes you can store in the sector? 512 bytes you can store. So total capacity you can see 720 multiplied by 512 is 360 kilobyte. Here 300 GB. So this is for only 300 GB hard disk. But in market, you can see now even 2 TB, 4 TB hard disk are available. Seek time for adjacent cylinder. Generally, seek time is 6 millisecond in floppy. Now you know what is seek time. So our time is required for arm positioning. Here is only 0.7 millisecond. Seek time in average case means if the cylinders are adjacent, it's very nearby than this one. But if the cylinders are away, then in this case it's 77 millisecond, here 4.2 millisecond for one seek. Rotation time, how much time is required to rotation for rotation of a platter? Here is 200 millisecond, here is 6 millisecond for rotation, right? Time to transfer one sector, if you want to transfer the data of one sector, right, that means 512 byte. Then here time required is 22 millisecond, but here 1.4 microsecond. So this is the average, and this hard disk is very old, but now the latest hard disks are much faster than this one. So this is why I am showing you this, so you can have idea or basic idea of the structure of the hard disk. Now let's start disk arm scheduling algorithm. right? Now, first, why we need ARM scheduling algorithm? Consider there are many requests of the hard disk transfer. Now, you know the time here. You will get many processes wants much data from the hard disk, right? Now, some data is here, some data is here, some here. So data may be scattered. Data may be scattered. And these arm positioning and rotation takes time. So how much we, or how can we sequence, how much we do the sequencing so that minimum rotation is required and minimum rotation is also required. So minimum movement is required of all the head and minimum rotation is also required. So it is nothing again but scheduling. Disk arm scheduling. This is arm, right? Disk arm scheduling. So if you compare this, seek time is 4.2 millisecond and rotation time is 6 millisecond. So how can we schedule the request so that this arm movement is minimum and this rotation is also minimum, so get with the minimum movement we can have maximum data, because see, transfer rate is not that much, but maximum time you need for seek and rotational delay. So our target or our goal is to have minimum rotation so that the data transfer can be faster. So again, let's repeat. The time required is determined by three factors. First, seek time, the time to move the arm to the proper cylinder. Second one is rotational delay or rotational latency, whatever you call. How long the proper sector to appear under the reading head. And third one is the actual data transfer. So these are the three criteria, or you can say three parameters that you need for the data transfer. But major time will go in seek time. Seek time is the major factor. So our goal is to have minimum movement of the arm. So let's see, we will learn these many algorithms. Again, later part, I will give you some example to solve for each. So first come, first serve, sorted seek first. So FCFS we have already seen. Sorted seek first is nothing but your sorted job first, an elevator algorithm, or second name is scan algorithm. And we will see two variants of the scan. One is C scan, which is circular scan, and one is C look, which is circular look. So what today's our target is, we will at least learn 3 to 4 algorithms, and rest we can complete on the Thursday. So let's start. When you understand first algorithm, then you are having idea what is disk arm scheduling algorithm. So first come, first serve. Now by the name only, now you are having the enough idea what is first come, first serve. It handles the IO request sequentially in arriving order. If many processes are requesting disk IO, then according to the request arrival, it will process the request. It is fair to all process. FCFS, the biggest biggest advantage of first come, first serve is it is fair to everyone. Approach is random scheduling in performance if there are many processes or requests, right? But disadvantage is suffer from global zigzag effect. Now what is this? That to understand a global zigzag effect, we need to understand one example. So several algorithms exist to schedule the servicing of IO requests. Let's have an example. We illustrate them with IO request queue of cylinder. Consider there are cylinder 0 to 199. 200 cylinders are available. And the request will come in this order. First, data we need from cylinder number 98, then cylinder number 183, then cylinder number 37, then cylinder number 122, then cylinder number 14, then cylinder number 124, then 65, and then last cylinder number 67. So it is very simple. And right now, currently, your head is at 53. Your head is at cylinder number 53. So it's simple. From 53, you need to go to 98. From 98, you need to go to 183. Again, from 183, your arm will come to cylinder number 37. Again, your arm will come to 122. Again, your arm will come to 14. Your arm will come to 124. Then again, it will go to 65, and then it will go to 67. So this will be the arm movement. Now, if we want to visualize, this is the case. So your head will start at 53. So this is cylinder number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and up to 199. This is 0 to 199. So from 53, it will go to 98. So first your head will come here. From 98, it will go to 183. So from 98, it will go to 183. From 183, it will need to come to 37. So it will come to 37 again. Then it will go to 122. So it will go to 122. Then again it will go to 14. So it will go to 14. Then again it will go to 124. Then 65. And this. So now, first we have seen it will suffer from zigzag attack or zigzag effect. Now you can see this is zigzag. So your arm need to move from this, something like zigzag. So the answer of that question is first come, first serve, because it served the request according to the arrival. Now, in your exam or in example, it will be asked that what is the average cylinder moment or what is the total cylinder moment? What is the total cylinder moment? So you need to see from 53 to 98, how many cylinder you need to travel? So 53 minus 98. Or 98 minus 53, whatever you do. So better you, here it is reverse, you do 98 minus 53 plus from 98 to 183, how many cylinder you need to travel? So 183 minus 98. So 183 minus 98 plus from 183 you need to go to 37. So 183 minus 37 plus 122 minus 37 plus 122 minus 14. Plus 124 minus 14 plus 124 minus 65 plus 65 or 67 minus 65. So can you do this? What is the total cylinder moment? Quick. So better you do bigger minus smaller. Bigger minus smaller. Or if you want to do like this, then always do or always write the number in positive. It will not never be minus. That's why I'm telling you, consider this every number as plus. That's why I told you do 98 minus 53, 183 minus 98. Or if you do 53 minus 98, then always do plus. It's just addition. Six 640, 650. Yeah, it should be always positive, na? Exam cannot be negative. So the answer is 640. Illustration shows the total 640 head movement of the cylinder. 640. Now, can anyone tell me what will be the total time which is required for 640 cylinder? What will be the total time? What will be the total time? 640 cylinder movement is okay, but what will be the time? Anyone? What will be the time? 183. How? Ah, I got the right question from Ashish. What is one cylinder time? Is it given to you? What is time required for one cylinder movement? Yes. Then in the exam, it will be given that time required for one cylinder. Now consider it. Time required for head movement to one cylinder is 4 millisecond. 4 millisecond. Then total time will be 2560 millisecond. It's around 2.5 seconds. Got it? Everyone? So first come first serve algorithm will serve the request according to the arrival. You just need to find the distance between cylinder. How you will find distance? To travel from 98 cylinder to 183 cylinder, how much cylinder you need to travel? That means 183 minus 98, right? Now to travel from 183 to 37, these many cylinder you need to travel, that is 183 minus 37, and then you need to make the total of all the cylinder. That will be the total distance or total seek distance which is traveled by the head. And in your exam it will also be given the time required or time needed for one seek. So the total will be this one. And as I have told you, the first come first serve is suffering from the zigzag. So your head needs to move from here to there and there to here because you are considering the request in the order of the arrival. Any doubt? Any doubt to anyone? It's just addition, so it will be easy. Yes, zigzag means more head movement. From left to right and right to left, left to right and right to left. It is zigzag. Should we go ahead with the next algorithm? Okay. This is the second example. Let's do the example. Can you find the total request? Take 2-3 minutes, and diagram is already given to you. You find the total distance traveled. Now the cylinders are 0 to 50. First come, first serve. And you need to always remember that the current head position is 11. So you need to start with 11. And if it is not given, then by default you need to consider from 0. But it is given here. So head will start from 11. Then it will move to 1, then 36, then 16, then 34, then 9, and then last 12. One, 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 but one student is getting 53. So I think 111 may be the answer. Let's see. Yes, answer is 111. And for example, if you have given 4 millisecond or something, then 444. 5 millisecond, then 555. So 11 minus 1, 36 minus 1, 36 minus 16, 34 minus 16, 34 minus 9, 9 minus 12, or 12 minus 9. So 111 will be the right answer. Great. Very good. Now shortest seek time first. So in scheduling algorithm also, we have seen that shortest job first. Now the shortest seek time first. Now let's see. It will select the request with the minimum seek time from the current head position. So it will see which will be the nearest cylinder from the current head position. It will go there first. Simple, very simple, only one line explanation. It will select the request with the minimum seek time from the current head position. Right. It also codes shortest seek distance first. The second name of the algorithm is SSDF. Shortest seek distance first. It's easier to compute the distance, right? But the disadvantage, it is biased in favor of the middle cylinder request. Now the studies will show that it will more move in the middle cylinder's request. Now we'll see the example also. So the outer cylinder, like what I am trying to say you that if the disk will see this algorithm, the head will keep moving in inner because it will first take the near distance. So the head will keep moving in this. So outer cylinders, like which are like this at their size, it will you can say it will not get the chance for the data transfer. So SSTF scheduling is a form of SJF scheduling may cause the starvation of some request. Right? Starvation we have seen. What is starvation? Which is means the outer cylinder or the cylinder which are so far from the near cylinder, the request will not get chance ever, because the head will keep moving in the inner cylinders only. Let's see the example. So this is, for example, while the head is on cylinder 11, consider the head is currently on the 11th cylinder, and the request will come 1, 36, 16, 34, 9 and 12. Now you need to, or head will see which is the nearest. So if head want to go to first cylinder, and the head need to travel 10 minus 1, that is 10 cylinder. If it want to go this cylinder, then the head needs to travel 25 cylinder. Here head need to travel 16 minus 11, 5 cylinder. Here 34 minus 11, that means 24, 23 cylinder. Here 2 cylinder, but here see, head need to travel only 1 cylinder. So the second request it will be covered is here. So from 11 it will go to 12. Now the head is at 12. Now it will see which is near. From 12 to 9, 3 cylinder, this is far, this is 4, this is 36, and this is 1. So which is near? 12 to 9. So then it will go to 9. So here from 9, which is near, I think 16. So it will go to 16. Then from 16, what is near? 34, 36, or 1. I think 1 is near. So it will go to 1. Then it will go to 34, and then last 36. Now I hope you got the idea how it will work. So it will check which is the shortest distance, and the cylinder will move from there to that. Now I have if you look, first come first serve approach, it will need 1 cylinder. Now can you calculate how many 6 required for this first shortest 6 time first? Can you calculate? Because I have given the example. First from 11 it will go to 12, so 1 plus it will go to 9, so 3, 1 plus 3, something like that. Can you calculate what is the number of cylinder SIG required for Sortex 6 time first? $60, $56, $61, $47. Wow, different answer for everyone. So recalculate, everyone, you recheck your answer. $57. Still 47 to 57, 61. Let's see. So 12 minus 11, right? Plus 12 minus 9, 16 minus 9, 16 minus 1, 34 minus 1, and 36 minus 54. 61 is the answer. Anyone wants to argue? Anyone wants to argue? I think we need to go back to school and we need to learn addition and subtractions. Just kidding, joking apart, no problem. But now you see, if you see, first come first serve will have 1 cylinder while it is near to the half. So always shortest seek time first is better because it requires lesser time. But the problem sometimes it is observed in biasing. If the nearby requests keep coming, then these cylinders which are far will get or may get chance very late, or it may possible that it will never get the chance. Do this. Shortest seek time. So this is Q 98, 183, 37, 122, 14, 124, 65, 67. Edge position will start at 53. Tell me the number of cylinder for first come first serve, as well as, I think for first come first serve we already seen. So give me the time for shortest seek time first. So 36. So I believe this answer may be right because everyone is getting same answer. So 236 cylinder. So again, it will, if it is asked in the exam, it will be very easy for you and you will get good marks. Now next is elevator algorithm. Now if you have observed the elevator means lift. We all are using lift in our day-to-day life. Many of you might be using in hostel. Many of you might be using in college. Just a minute. So here the arm will move according to the elevator, right? So how it will work? The disk arm starts at one end of the disk and moves towards the other end and servicing the request until it gets to the other end of the disk where the head movement is reversed and servicing continues. Right? Like lift. What the lift will do? Lift will start from 0 floor. It will go to the maximum floor and it will keep taking the person up to the top floor, and again it will move to the reverse direction and it will service the person. So top to bottom, bottom to top. Here same, the head will move from left to right and right to left, and whatever the request will come in the way, it will service the request. Same simple algorithm, elevator. And the other name of this elevator algorithm is scan algorithm because it works like scanner. Left to right, right to left, left to right, right to left. It moves in both direction until the both the ends. Remember, it will move up to end. It is not like that the last request is cylinder number 137, though it will go to cylinder number 199. And again it will come to 0. 0 to 199, 199 to 0, or number of whatever the number of cylinder are. So tends to stay more at the end, so more fair to the extreme cylinder request. The problem that we were facing, it will get solved over here. This algorithm is also known as the scan algorithm. See, here first 11, 1, 12, 36, 16, 34, 9. So it will go in one direction, for example, for 11 to 12, 12 to 16, 16 to 34, 34 to 36, and in reverse 9 and 1. Right? So it is like elevator from left to right, right to left. So if you calculate, it will use 60 cylinders, a little bit better than the shortest of first algorithm. Can you do this quick? If you want to use elevator, how many 6 it will perform? This one. Yes, it is not compulsory to left to right. Whatever the nearest, it will start. If the left part is near, it will start from left first and then it will go to right. If the right part is near, then the first 6, then it will start from the first. Assess 299 is not right answer. Little bit is missing. Can you recheck? Sunny, it's simple. First it will see which is the nearest from 53. So it will go continues in that direction. And then it will go to the reverse direction. If you are having any problem, see this one. So here the 12 is nearer to 11, then it is going after 12, which is next number, which is next number, which is next number, and then, so first let's make it simple. All the bigger numbers, then the 11 in ascending order, and then all the smaller number, then 11 in descending order. It's very simple. So 11, 12, 16, 34, 36. And what are the lesser than 11, which is 9 and 1. So first in ascending order, then reverse in the descending order. I hope this is clear. No? Matthews, you are very near. Okay, you can take screenshot of this. Do it whenever you are free, and I will give you answer tomorrow. So next two algorithms we will do tomorrow, and I will also give you answer for this tomorrow. So okay, no, tomorrow is the lab, so we'll do on Thursday. Okay, you can type your number and you can leave. Thank you. We'll meet on Thursday now.